Play my other.
You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Happy Saturday, and thank you for joining us this fine early morning to catch the leadoff on the Peak One Sports Network. I'm Ashton with Tony and Landon as usual, and joining us today to talk a lot of extra sports that we don't know about, Cole Rambo of the Bungalow Sports Show. What's going on, Cole?
Oh, not much. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to grace you with my presence.
Did you make a double shot of coffee this morning?
Oh, just same amount, dude. Same amount. I'm a caffeine hoarder. My body hoards caffeine. It's like I'm like one of those. I'm like a TikTok mom who's like, oh my god, I wish the pumpkin spice latte would work on me like it does these kids. Like it doesn't just. It's more of a habit than something that actually helps now anymore.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm happy to be here.
Be sure to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. And hit that like button if you like what you're watching. If you don't like what you're watching, hit the like button twice.
Why are you here?
Yeah, why? Well, I always like to say what you say, Cole. Send us to your friends if you like us. If you hate us, send us to your enemies.
That's right, dude.
One way or another. I can't imagine hating us so bad that you just want to send us to somebody you don't like.
Yeah, go watch this podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, thanks for everybody who's tuning in and who will eventually tune in who don't like to wake up early on Saturdays. You can sleep in and watch us later, and either way, we'll get you ready for your sports weekend. This episode's brought to you by Betalytics. I don't even have to read this live spot. It's just redundant at this point. If it's your first time watching, go to Betalytics.com. Don't bet with your gut. Use their AI algorithms. Use promo code PEAK1, and you get 25% off when you sign up. It's Betalytics.com, and it'll just help you out with a lot of your parlays, picking your over-unders, prop bets, player profiles, the whole shebang, Betalytics.com. So, Cole, I know this is a really convenient week to have you on. We have NHL starting this past week, and then you have UFC
294
going on.
Starting in 2 hours from the United Arab Emirates. They're going back to Fight Island. It's the spot they built during COVID so they could still have pay-per-views. They haven't had an event there since the pandemic was over. So a lot of Russian and Middle Eastern fighters, a lot of guys that you don't get to see a lot stateside fighting. So that'll be one battle. Since before we get too far from Betalytics, I want to let everybody know I have been a lifelong hockey fan. Like I had a lady at that works at the shower door supplier where I get my shower door materials for my my real job. She just went to her first Sharks game over last weekend, and I always tell people, you go to one hockey game, you're going to be a hockey fan. Like it hooks you immediately when you go to a live game because it is so intense. Like whether like you have no choice but to like get like invested in the game when you're sitting there because it's such a back and forth, and like it's all, I said it on my podcast before, where it's like tension and release constant. It's just like, oh, save, oh, goal. Like it's just like you have no choice, right? So of course she gets hooked. Unfortunately, she's a shark. I'm like, unfortunately, you're now a Sharks fan. But like people ask me like how long you've been a fan, and the Sharks have been a team since 1991. I was 6 years old in 1991. I can barely remember like a week and a half ago, so I can't really like say like I was, biting my fingernails watching the Sharks at 6 years old. But I do tell people I can't remember a time in my life where I wasn't a hockey fan, right? I've never bet on a hockey game, and I think that's because I love the sport so much. I don't know why. I never wanted to taint it before, but now I've become such a degenerate gambler. Thanks
Thank you,
to the
Betalytics.
UFC, and thanks to Betalytics, that I announced last week that if I do win money today on my UFC bets, because that's the caveat, is Betalytics does not do mixed martial arts, because I'm assuming it is very unpredictable, which is why it's so hard to make picks, because there's so many different ways to lose and so many different ways for upsets to happen that it is mostly a losing effort. But on Bungalow Fight Show, we are 63%. So people charge you for that type of betting percentage. So just to say, we give picks for free. But anyways, if I do win money today, I will be placing my first bets on hockey using Betalytics this week. Not on the Sharks, because I'm not trying to lose my money, but I will be using Betalytics this week to bet on the NHL. And yeah, the NHL is back. It is my favorite time of year. It is, I don't know what it is about this sport. I never played it growing up. I never, as soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it. And it doesn't matter if it's my team. Obviously, I get more involved watching my team play, but I could literally put on a college hockey game. I watch Pee-wee hockey highlights on TikTok now. There's like this little kid. There's like this little 9-year-old goalie where they put up like a GoPro behind him and they mic him up inside his pads because he just talks to himself. Like that's the other thing about like hockey. Like goalies, every sport has like their weirdo positions. Like goalies are weirdos, and it's mostly because they're so isolated. Because even when you're in the group of your teammates, you're still under a mask and behind all these and then most of the time you're just standing there by yourself.
Well, it's the exact same like in baseball with a catcher.
Exactly.
You absolutely have to example. You have to be insane to sit behind the plate and let Aroldis Chapman throw 101 mile an hour fastball at you.
Right. Know? And the only guy you have to talk to is the umpire. You know what I mean? The smartest thing catchers ever did was invent those knee saver things, so it felt like you were sitting on a chair.
Yeah,
I remember my buddy.
Boy.
Yeah, exactly. But same type of deal. So I'm a insane hockey fan. I watch this 9-year-old just talk to himself, and he'll sit there and he'll be singing a song, and then he'll be talking. Oh, who's got the puck? Oh, they got the puck. Okay, let's go. Oh, Jacob's got it. And then the other team will be coming at him, and it'll be like, okay, here we go. What side are you gonna go to? What side's he gonna It is like a 9-year-old. You know what I mean? And, I'll sit there and watch that, and I don't know what it is, but I suggest you tune in. A lot of people don't like it on TV. I can't follow the puck. Grow up, you know? But anyways, the season started off with a bang, man. I guess I don't know if I'm a little more invested because I'm doing sports podcasts now. This is like the first year of hockey where I've done sports podcasts, so I feel like I'm more invested in the league as a whole than just my own team, you know, obsessing over that, which kind of helps my mental state because I'm less obsessing over how bad my team is versus, just kind of trying to stay on top of everything. But I don't know. I mean, you guys have one of the best teams in the league right there right now, real close to you in Dallas. So it's a good spot to be, I'm sure, there. Being excited. You've got a team that's, well, let's not jinx it, but possibly on the cusp of a World Series. What I think the Astros tied it up last night, or
they took the
lead last night. Yeah.
They took Jesus Christ. Other than that, a couple teams in Texas that are in the playoffs are baseball. Dallas is always exciting, but they have their issues football season wise, ups and downs.
Yeah, we're used to that now.
The Cowboys are really
we're like you with the Sharks. You're just
right.
You just kind of expect it. So
full of expectations and no payoff.
Anything better than mediocrity.
Here's the worst thing though about the Cowboys is it gets shoved in your face because you have to stay up late half the season and watch them lose on Monday night or Sunday night or whatever.
Well, they made the mistake of taking on the moniker of America's team, so then you get the eyeballs of the entire country for the rest of
Jerry
the rest
Jones
of
doesn't think that's a
existence.
mistake. He says as long as we make the playoffs and win one playoff game every 5 or 6 years, and we're worth $10 billion, I don't care.
Right. It's not a mistake in like for jersey sales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as far as like for
Being
the
a
fan,
fan,
like, I can.
It's cool being the most hated and most liked team, one of the most popular teams talked about, but not when you lose.
Well, you just get to hear more opinions about your team, which kind of is annoying. I have my Sharks, like they're a team knowing. I mean, so they went on a stretch from probably like 2008 to like until they actually made the Stanley Cup Finals in 2016 and lost to the Penguins. But like that whole stretch, like every year had to start with, oh, the Sharks are going to take it. Every analyst, you know what I mean? I had to hear every analyst putting them top 5, top 3, number 1 in expectations, and then completely falling apart at the end of the season. And then now is the first time in my hockey life where I get to like everyone expects them to finish last. Basically, it's between us and the Ducks, basically, of who's going to finish dead last in the entire league. So it's like a real juxtaposition. So it does feel like it kind of takes a little pressure off fandom wise. But as far as the rest of the league goes, I'm a huge fan of parody. You know what I mean? I love it when things get shaken up. And the other Texas team, football wise, the Houston Texans, like just watching CJ Stroud and kind of D'Amico Ryans and like what they're kind of putting together there is a little exciting. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not sure how much you guys hate other teams up against your favorite team. I kind of I spread my hatred around a little bit, but I save it for a few choice teams, you know?
Yeah,
I'd say mostly divisional teams.
Yeah, I'm for sure hate rivals, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Houston, not so much. I mean, the annoying thing
it's hard to hate a team that sucks forever,
well,
you know what I mean?
The Texans, I mean, yeah, they're 20 years old, but they've never really done anything.
Right.
The annoying thing about the Texans is 90% of them, I mean, not 90, but a big chunk of them are Cowboys fans that are just tired of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, you're
they
totally
turn into
right.
Cowboy haters.
Well, and that's like in the Western Conference of the NHL, you know, California. I mean, California's got 3 hockey teams. We've got one in Seattle now. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of West Coast hockey going on, and because they changed the expansion draft rules when the Vegas Golden Knights came into the league. They basically changed the rules of players that are available for you to poach from other teams to where these brand new expansion teams have a chance to be contenders right out the gate, i.e. the Knights who made it to the finals in their first year and won it in their 6th year. You know what I mean? So,
which is fun. That's fun for sports.
I don't mind it, although it's a Western Conference team, and I once the playoffs start, I hate them. It doesn't. You know, a lot of Sharks fans and a lot of people just, I can't believe it. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you're only mad because it's 30 years in and we've been to the Cup once, lost it, and haven't even sniffed it since. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the only reason you're mad.
The expansion team makes it to the finals their first year, and then what have they been, like 6 years, 7 years in, and they win it? They
win it in their 6th year, and they've only missed the playoffs once in 6 years. You know, it's odd. And that's why people
and it's Vegas's first professional team. I mean, not to knock on the WNBA, but
right. Who just the Aces just won their second championship in a row, and nobody cares. It's like, God, what do they got to do?
But as a hockey fan, I mean, I'm not as invested in hockey as you, but you know, take it back to the Cowboys. If we had a new expansion team, and then they're making the playoffs, they're beating the Cowboys in the playoffs, or they're eliminating them from the playoffs, it'd be annoying to watch their fans. Like, y'all aren't real fans. Y'all don't even, you're in Vegas.
Yeah, well, no, that's me. That's me. Is like my son. I'm trying to raise a son who's not as hateful as I am, you know, sports wise. You know, he doesn't care as much as I do. So that's a good thing because it saves you a lot of heartburn and things like that. But like, it's just like, I can't help it. It's like you with their Las Vegas with their stupid sparkly jerseys and
like in our household
medieval times.
Yeah, we're
game
Rangers
intros
fans, and we've been Rangers fans. But
Right.
you know, my in-laws live in the Houston area. They're actually on the coast, but they're in that Houston area. So as a family, we've kind of become somewhat Astros fans, you know, because they're in that area. And I mean, anywhere on the canal they're at it's insane when games are going. But like Landon has become kind of an Astros fan and has Astro shirts, and I'm not mad about it. It's like,
no, you can't.
I mean,
not with your kids. You can't force it.
Yeah.
You can't force it on them. You know what I mean? Especially, that's what I said. Like I always like with my son. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna watch sports, you pick your team. Bro.
Yeah. At least
like,
it's gonna make you happy.
Exactly. It's like if my team was great, you know what I mean? Like you can't blame like 90s dads having their kids be Cowboys fans or Niners fans or whatever because they were good. So it was like, of course they're going to be fans because that's why you guys have probably heard me say it ad nauseum. But when it comes to football, like I grew up in a Raiders house where it wasn't a rah Raiders. It was a God damn it, like kind of a household.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only piece of Raiders memorabilia in my dad's garage man cave was the Oakland Tribune headline of Rich Gannon sitting on the turf, holding the ball, handing it to the ref. And the headline said, "We are losers." Like, and like that is, and then that was it for football for
that
me.
Should be put on a shirt. You should have
Right.
that on a shirt.
Until I discovered
We
fantasy.
are losers.
Like,
Out of context, you don't.
God, dude. Like until I discovered fantasy football and it kind of got me back into the sport, just interested in players and just, you know, made me like the sport.
How much has fantasy sports changed viewership of sports?
And it has to be so much.
All sports.
You know,
now you can do fantasy baseball. You can do all of it. You know, it gets you engaged and involved league-wide, not just by your team.
Well, and I always say, like, fantasy-wise, football is the best and the most popular just because it's a short season and it's basically one day a week you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's easy to follow that way.
I'm playing fantasy hockey again right now for the first time in like a decade because my co-host on the Bungalow Hockey Show, Daniel, invited me to his league, which is like a freaking 20-person league.
You sound very disgruntled about that. That he invited. I'm part of like 5 fantasy football leagues. 3 of them I didn't even know I agreed to.
But that's the thing is fantasy football is like I've got one league that I give a crap about, and no offense, but it's not ours. Like
no,
but,
I can tell. We've noticed.
Hey, dude, I had an A+ on that draft, bro. I'm hanging on to that.
Hey, I'm thinking of uses for that "We Are Losers" shirt. Maybe a payoff.
Yeah, hey, don't worry. No matter how much of us lose, Alexis has already given up, and he's 0-6, and he just I don't think he's watched a football game in his life. I kind of forced him into being in it. And I was like, in my back of my head, I was like, well, at least I'm going to have one win.
There's always that one team, though. There's always one team. You have a spot to fill. It's like, just get in, man. You'll have fun. Trust me.
Just set it and forget it, dude. Like Ron Popeil. Remember that guy with the freaking rotisserie cooker when we were kids on the
that's right.
But that's the thing about fantasy football is like as long as you have everything set by Saturday morning or Saturday evening, you can kind of just forget about it and then look at the results on Tuesday, open your app and it says yay or it says wah wah or whatever. But the hockey thing, like there's hockey games every day, right? And it's like there's healthy scratches, you know, there's guys that are perfectly fine, but they're just not playing today. They didn't make this road trip because of whatever reason, or they're just giving them some rest or this, that, and the other thing. So you got to be involved.
I've never played fantasy hockey. I've done baseball and basketball.
I'd imagine it's similar to baseball and basketball for those same reasons, is that there is games every day or every other day or whatever. And like, they do sit people for no freaking reason. So like you got a guy in there and then, oh wait, he's not playing today. Like, oh, he scored a hat trick last night, but he's not playing tonight. Like what? Why? Like, you know, and so not that it's just a lot of work, Daniel. If you're watching this, it's just a lot of work. But I am 1-0. The games last a week. Is that how it is in baseball fantasy?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Landon does baseball
fantasy. No, baseball fantasy is hard.
But
you have to pay attention every day.
But it's the same deal, though. You set your lineup on whatever day. But with football, it's like, okay, it'd have Monday nights over. You've lost one. You don't even have to think about it. Till
Thursday morning, you just make sure you don't got any guys in the Thursday game, and then you forget about it until Saturday. You know what I mean? And
baseball. There's like whatever that cutoff time is, where now I need to make sure I do it.
Right. But anyways, all that being said, hockey's back. I don't know. I mean, I guess just headline wise, Connor Bedard, the number one overall pick to the Blackhawks. Every year in hockey, it seems like in football, I guess, because it's the most popular draft. It's the most eyeballs on a draft, and every year there's a microscope on the number one pick, or even like the top 5 picks. You know what I mean? But like in hockey, it seems like it goes in cycles where every 3, 4, 5 years there's a guy that gets that microscope because it's kind of similar to like international soccer, where like eyeballs are on these guys from the time they're 7 years old, right?
Yeah.
Like some of these guys sign, commit to colleges when they're 10. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty crazy. Like so by the time they hit draft age, we know if this guy is going to be an NHL player or if he's going to be the guy, or what they say in football, a generational talent or whatever. You know what I mean? And the last one in the NHL being Connor McDavid, right? Which he's almost a decade in now. And his line mate Leon Draisaitl was also one of those guys. And then now Connor Bedard is like the next man up, who is got that rub of like, this guy should be the guy. He should be, the names, even non-hockey fans know Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin. They're all compared to Wayne Gretzky. Like they just, from the time of Wayne Gretzky being Wayne Gretzky when he was 11 years old, like you've had these guys like every 5 years. And he's pretty much showing it, dude. And it's pretty cool to watch. Like, I'm not a big Blackhawks guy, but like when just tuning in to watch one player in hockey is very interesting. And it's like, it's very evident because it's such a fast and physical sport, whether they're going to be able to hang. And the biggest question mark on him was he is kind of a small guy. But the NHL, kind of following suit with football and other sports, where they're trying to either make higher scoring games, whether it's in the guise of safety with the NHL. So it's like, or with the NFL, where you see smaller guys being able to be more successful in professional sports. You know what I mean? Professional sports have always been a landscape of you got to be big. You got to be big and tall, and then you got to have skill.
Yeah.
But now they're kind of, with rule changes and other things like that, they're making room for you can be a smaller guy as long as your skill set is there. They're kind of molding the rules around to make it so you don't get your head knocked off every time you step on the ice or what have you.
Yeah.
And in his first 2 games, he had an assist in his first game, goal in his second game. He's pretty much right there on all. He's up there on all statistical fronts already. His size has been shown a little bit to where he's getting tossed around a little bit. They played the Boston Bruins in their second game, and they are a notoriously rough team to play against. And with their captain being one of the biggest assholes in the entire league. Usually the captain on a hockey team is the most, stoic and
all-American guy,
level-headed,
yeah.
kind of, can kind of keep but that's why Boston is like that, because the guy they choose as a captain is a shit starter, and he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but and being that kind of a player can make you successful in hockey. But Connor Bedard's looking around a lot at the refs, kind of like, where's the call? And if he was in the AHL, and because that happens in hockey a lot, and like in baseball, where like you are a first round pick, but then you start in the minors just to kind of ease yourself into the professional ranks, because the game is different. The game is way different. The guys are bigger, everything. It's faster. For a fast sport, it gets exponentially faster. But so there are those few, top 5 picks that end up starting game 1, and he's getting knocked around and looking for calls, and he's not getting them because it's like, well, you're in the big show now. So it's like, you're not going to get those calls all the time. Like, you'll get some of them if they're really messing with you. But
hey, Cole,
if
real quick, let's take a break real quick. And everybody who's watching, stay there. We'll be right back. We're just going to take a quick break.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I talk too much. And we're back.
I hope this works. Oh, everybody mute there. Y'all mute yourself.
Everybody just played musical chairs.
All right, guys, back here. Thank you for waiting there for a second. Back here in the Peak One Sports Network, the leadoff. And now Cole's not on the screen anymore, but that's all right. We still have your audio, right, Cole?
I'm still here.
Hey, this is what happens.
Yeah, they just don't want to see me
Yeah, go
anymore because
ahead.
I turned this into a hockey show, but
Yeah, we were just tired of looking at you. We just didn't like you were making all of our lighting look bad. Like you have all this set up perfectly, and we're just like, man, this looks bad. We got to get him off the screen.
that's all right. Alexis did the fight show from his garage the other day because we had to do it at nighttime. So he has to.
Hold on, let me
he
see.
called-
No,
calls
keep
it his-
going.
He calls it his crying room because when he does it at night, he has to go in there to make noise because his kids are asleep. So
No, mine's my man cave shed, whatever. While our producer's fixing it, maybe we'll have you back on. I don't know. I have it outside, which works. It's a little bit away from my house, but then it's hard to sneak away to because the door opens, and my wife's like, where you going?"
oh yeah, no, that's I share a wall with my mother-in-law's bedroom. So it's always funny because like I'll go in there after I do these shows with you guys or something, and then like my wife will be laughing and she'll be like, "My mom came out here and she was just like, did you know Cole was up at 4:30 talking to someone?"
Needs to get that XO jazz on you. Is that why she was?
Yeah. I'm in here on Match.com. That's what I'm doing.
Say talking to my friends in Texas.
You have all that spare time in your life.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's not really any other. We don't need to go on over too much more hockey stuff. The season's so brand new. It's just overreaction season, just like every sport in its first couple weeks, first couple months. A lot of overreactions. Austin Matthews, Toronto Maple Leafs. He's good. 2 hat tricks, 2 games. Can't get much better than that. Toronto media still, after his second hat trick in 2 days, asked him, how are you feeling? I know you had the 3 goals, but are you pleased with your performance since you had kind of a bad game? And it's just like, what do you want the guy to do?
Yeah.
Like just like you scored 3 goals, but your defensive metrics aren't up to par. And it's like, yeah, but I scored 3 goals. I think the rest of the team could have handled that part of it. But it's just like Toronto's like being on the Yankees or Dallas, like we were talking earlier, like the media and the world of sport of that sport is all over you if you play for that team.
Yeah, way overreaction. It's southward. It's
yeah. One last thing on hockey before I let you